Payments is at the heart of commerce. That means whenever you buy or sell things, one of the things which you can't avoid is paying for that or receiving payment for that. But many companies and people also take it for granted. They think that payment is a straightforward and obvious step. And as a result of that, they overlook the nuances which are present in payments. Amazon made a small but significant change in the way they accept payments from their customers. And as a result of that, the entire e-commerce landscape across the world changed. But today I'm going to talk to you about Amazon's one-click and the way it changed the entire e-commerce world. My name is Praveen and I'm a storyteller. I narrate stories from my line of work, payments. When we look at buying things online, the steps are very simple. You go to website X, you look at the things which are listed on their website. That is where their recommendation system comes into the picture, promoting things they want you to buy. After that, you shortlist the items, add them to the cart, and then go to the next step, which is making the payment. Before you make the payment, you also need to enter your shipping information, where after which the shipping amounts are added, post which you proceed to select your payment method and make the payment. And if you draw some parallels between this and the way a typical supermarket works, they are almost analogous, right? So there also you go take the items, put them in the cart, and then you go to the checkout counter and you pay for those items and then go home. One way, it lacks imagination. We are trying to translate everything that is offline to online method. That's where Jeff Bezos thought it differently. If you want to buy something, you look at it and it should be yours. That's where the innovation comes in. Now, if you look at the entire process which I took you through, for every 100 customers who add items to the cart, almost 70 of them drop out. Only 30 of them go ahead to make the purchase. Now, this is an industry-wide problem. So a customer might be abandoning their cart for a variety of reasons. Maybe they got a better deal somewhere, or the shipping rate which is calculated at the end scared them, or they changed their mind, or maybe they were not even serious in the first place. However, one of the significant items in this list is the checkout process. Around 23 to 25% of the dropouts happen because the checkout process is very long. Instead of asking the customers so many questions every time they want to buy from us, what if we ask the questions only once, store them with us, and enable the customer to buy things at the click of a button from the next time onwards? That's what Amazon's one-click is. Amazon's one-click, in hindsight, is very obvious and straightforward. So it's about collection of customer shipping information, the payment information, and store it and use it the next time the customer clicks on the one-click button. Most e-commerce sites have this feature right now. However, I'm speaking about 1999. In 1999, Amazon was only a bookseller, and they were still very young and growing. Even today, people hesitate a lot to part with their payment information, allow a third party to store their payment information. Amazon was able to successfully convince the customers that there was a good reason to provide the payment information. They convinced them that the next time they come to purchase something on Amazon's website, it is going to be seamless and will just take a click. When they started doing that, they were able to build a very large database of customers. What this meant was, there are thousands of customers who have given the payment information to Amazon. And it shows that they were ready to come back to Amazon's portal, Amazon's website again. They were ready to keep buying things from Amazon. And what if Amazon could start selling something beyond books? What if they could find some sellers who would sell things other than books? Because there are thousands of people whose payment information is already on Amazon. And that's what they did. They went to the sellers and started listing them on Amazon's website. So that was a big use case for the sellers also. In a click, they got connected with thousands of sellers across the world. Now that is how Amazon's marketplace came into being. It would be very short-sighted to say that Amazon's one-click pay was the only reason for their marketplace success. Amazon had a lot of other things going on that helped them in the success of marketplace. The recommendation system was really good. The prices on Amazon were much lower compared to the competition and also the offline stores. The shipping rates were low. The return policies on Amazon were also very easy. So all these things contributed to Amazon's marketplace. However, one thing we cannot at the same time deny is the role played by Amazon's one-click in the success of marketplace. Amazon launched this one-click pay, and then as a result of that, the cart abandonment rate started falling down. So Amazon also did something on the side which did change the industry altogether. They went ahead and filed a patent for this new payment method. There was one other competition which Amazon was directly fighting at that time, Barnes & Noble. In 1999, Barnes & Noble had around 1,000 stores across the United States selling books. However, compared to that, Amazon was a very small new player who had just 500 employees. Now, if you look at the scale of their revenue, Barnes & Noble had a revenue of around $2.7 billion in 1999 itself. Now, Amazon, compared to that, had a meager $148 million. And Barnes & Noble wouldn't want to keep watching, right? So they launched their own version of one-click payment method, and they called it Express Lane. Amazon took Barnes & Noble to court. So they went to the district court first, and the district court recognized the Amazon's patent as an innovation, and they served an injunction which prevented Barnes & Noble from using the same method which powered their Express Lane. But Barnes & Noble did not stop there. They went for an appeal. They went to a federal circuit court where the ruling came in favor of Barnes & Noble. The observation was that this does not count as an innovation. This is more of a business method and an obvious step. So they ruled down against Amazon, and we don't know what happened between Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but they settled outside the court after that. And apparently Amazon also issued them a license to keep using that one-click method. The interesting thing here is how people perceived the patent filed by Amazon. Now, speaking of patents, we have multiple kinds of patents. For example, if there is an equipment, if there is an invention, if there is a new medicine, new drug, the patents are obvious. So you have a clear differentiation, you have a clear innovation. So you could straightforward file a patent and it gets granted. Now, in the case of Amazon's patent, it is classified more of a business method patent. Now, this is where things get very ambiguous. It's very broad. So we cannot say for sure the thing which Amazon created was an innovation. It's more of a process. So this could be applied for any sales, marketing, or finance, accounting process. It's a business method. So that is why the entire industry turned against Amazon. Amazon till then was the industry or the people's favorite because it was a small player taking on the Goliaths of industry like Barnes & Noble. Now people started turning against Amazon. A popular author, Tim O'Reilly, who is also known for the wide usage of the words like Web 2.0 or open source. So he came out and wrote an open letter to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos at that time. It is our belief that this patent was granted without adequate review. Such broad patents serve only to hold back further innovation. A patent fails to meet even the most rudimentary tests for novelty and non-obviousness to an expert in the field. The fundamental technology on which Amazon's one-click implementation is based is the use of cookies. So he created an online signature campaign to voice out against Amazon, and he targeted around 10,000 signatures, and interestingly he got 10,000 signatures against Amazon on the same day. If an organization could patent even a small thing like this, we are not going to have a level playing field anymore. Imagining a soccer field where the entire field is tilted in one direction, and that's where Amazon was sitting. So Jeff Bezos at that time wrote an open email. So he starts this email this way. I have received several hundred email messages on the subject of our one-click ordering patent. 99% of them were polite and helpful, and to the other 1%, thanks for the patience and color. And then he goes on to speak about the justification for the patent. He did agree with the rest of the industry that the current way in which the patent is working could harm the entire industry. So he says, the current rules governing business method and software patents could end up harming all of us. However, he was not going to budge. Despite the call from many thoughtful folks for us to give up our patents unilaterally, I don't believe it would be right for us to do so. But then he says, we will also continue to be careful in how we use our patents. Unlike with trademark law, where you must continuously enforce your trademark or risk losing it, patent law allows you to enforce a patent on a case-by-case basis only when there are important business reasons for doing so. Jeff Bezos' argument at that time was very simple. They were very small guys. They were up and coming business, and they are taking on the industry heavyweights. And they were afraid that anybody else could actually be filing a patent for this business method and then could prevent Amazon and everybody else from using it. So Amazon simply did not want to be harassed by the larger brands at that time. Now coming back to our original idea of one-click buy. So Amazon was not going to budge, and they stuck to it. Some of the larger companies were really clever at that time, and they went to get the patent license to them. And one of them was Apple. Apple in 1999 or somewhere around 2000 itself got the one-click ordering licensed from Amazon. As a result of that, they put it on their iTunes store at that time, which meant that anybody using iTunes could buy music with just one click. Now the patent went out of the picture in 2017. Till then, Amazon almost literally dominated this one-click buy, and wherever or whatever the brands which wanted to use that patent, they had to pay Amazon to do that. Now let's go back to what kind of difference it made between Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble predominantly continues to be an offline brick and mortar kind of focused brand while concentrating on a very small catalog of items around books. However, Amazon grew multifold. Amazon changed into a website which could have almost any product which you could imagine buying online. At the end of 2022, Barnes & Noble had a revenue of around $3.5 billion, while Amazon had a revenue of $514 billion. That's the scale at which Amazon grew compared to Barnes & Noble in the last 25 years. If we just take the books category alone, in 1999, Barnes & Noble had a market share of around 30% of books in the US alone. Amazon at that point around 5% of market share. Now, only 15% of the market share in the US book industry is retained by Barnes & Noble. 50% of the books in the US are bought on Amazon. Another innovation about the one-click buy is the incremental charge. So when customers are giving their credit card details and allowing Amazon to store them, they are also authorizing Amazon to charge them in the future as and when the need arises. Now this by itself is very big because this kind of lays the foundation bed for subscription model. Till then, we did not have the subscription model. So the way the subscription businesses like Netflix work these days, kind of the same technical configuration which Amazon set up for one-click payments in 1999. Jeff Bezos also mentioned two other things. Small inventions look extremely obvious in hindsight, in retrospect. So when you look back on things, they look small. However, it's not everybody comes up with those ideas. So credit should be given to the organizations which come up with that. So the significance of an invention should not be based on how difficult it is to copy. Rather, it should be about how that invention is reframing the problem in a new way. One-click pay has a lot of advantages. Number one, It reduces the friction because the number of clicks is going down. The customer is having a seamless experience. Number two, it increases impulse buying. So when you think of impulse buying, it's about people who are in a rush and they are not thinking twice about buying something, and you are not allowing that window for them to have the remorse. So you are kind of holding them and making them buy immediately. Now compare it with a supermarket checkout counter, where next to the checkout counter you see variety of chocolates, peppermints, etc., which kind of translates into impulse buying. So like you are not going to think a lot when you pick them up. Amazon wanted to increase that. Any e-commerce brand would want to increase that. That's where a seamless or a faster checkout experience definitely helps them build more sales. Another step forward in e-commerce because of one-click pay was the security. Because the card details had to be stored, the tokenization framework started developing because of that. So when we speak about tokenization, it's about how the credit card details which we give, how they are changed into tokens and stored in the background, so that our payment information are not compromised by any kind of hacking, etc. What do you think? Is Amazon's one-click payment, was it an innovation or was it an obvious hack which Amazon kind of misused into having a patent and preventing the others for 17 years? One thing is for sure, one-click buy was not the starting point of innovation, and it is not the end either. There have been many innovations in payments before that and after that. Payment technologies will continue to evolve. More such things will come into the picture. The next time you click on a purchase button, remember the groundbreaking innovation that went into that. And Amazon was the pioneer behind that.